For sure. Okay. Harish, we gotta get started. All right. Okay, my dear people, we do not have a microphone today because reasons, ASU. So I'll be loud as possible, but I'll ask you kindly to not make a lot of noise so you can hear me. If you cannot hear something, just raise your hand or just shout at me because I will hear, and I'll shout at you back, and you will hear too. So today we have a very interesting topic. We have Firebase with Gemini Pro. We don't have our dear president here because him and our founder are at Stanford right now judging tree hacks, which is really cool. We have our vice president here. We have our squad around here. Where's the squad? Where does the squad go? Squad is somewhere. So this workshop is not as much as workshop as it is a session. I'll be calling it that. So we'll be coding a little bit, but most of all, we're just going to be exploring. We're just going to be learning new stuff. So I want you to do it with me if you want. But you don't need any prerequisites. So the only thing you need is browser and a will to learn something new. So basically, we're going to start with this little agenda here. We're building essentially an AI wrapper today. So we're going to be using Gemini with Firebase in order to create our little AI chatbot. Now, we're going to be looking at Firebase a little bit just to get everyone up to speed and introduce you to the service and show you how you can use it in your projects and in general. I know that a lot of you are grad students, so you already know what Firebase is, but it's a little refresher, so why not for you too? And we're going to be talking about like Firebase extensions, so even if you work with Firebase daily, you'll still learn something new today probably. Then we're going to talk about Gemini, which is Google's latest AI LLM, like ChatGPT. We're going to look at it, we're going to see what we can do with it, and later we're going to integrate it with Firebase in order to create our little application, which we're going to be making with Flutter. So it sounds like a lot, but you'll see that it's pretty smooth, and I hope you really like it. So our stack is, as I said, is Firebase, Gemini Pro, and Flutter. So Firebase we're using for the backend, Gemini Pro is our AI model, and Flutter is our front end. So we're going to be building Flutter for the web today because I don't want you to all install Xcode and things like that. But just keep in mind that if you build this app today, you can run it on iOS, Android, anything because this Flutter is cross-platform. So let's start with a quick overview of Firebase. Firebase is a cloud service from Google. It's a big dashboard that allows you to handle a lot of good things for your application. Probably all of you know what AWS is, so this is pretty much what AWS is for Amazon, Firebase is for Google. Firebase is a summarized version of Google Cloud Cloud Platform, sorry. That is GCP. So AWS is Amazon, GCP is Google. And it has a lot of features, but Firebase kind of summarizes them for you and makes them more accessible for smaller applications. So if you're not like, let's say, a big business and you're just building your first app, or you just have something smaller, things like database, additional serverless functions, authentication, and like many more things like notifications, for example. You want to handle that, Firebase is here for you to do that and help you do that. So let's just run quickly through the slides so I can later show you how it actually works. So we have Cloud Firestore, for example. It's a NoSQL database. It's very flexible and scalable. It is essentially a big JSON, and that's the JSON, where you can put a lot of data types, for example, timestamps, strings, whatever you want. It's pretty easy to integrate with the front end, and it supports real-time listeners, which we'll be using heavily today for our chat, meaning that once you add a document, it appears on your front end immediately. And here's a little graphic there that shows the structure of Firestore. It's very simple. It's a collection is a collection, literally, of documents. And every document is your entry that has some data. So for example, this is a collection of students and you all are students. So each one of you is a document, and you all have data. So for example, age, I don't know, birth year, stuff like that, right? So this is how Firestore works. And by separating into collections, we can easily manage data in, well, pretty scalable, I would say, way. But Cloud Functions, for example, help us create a backend for applications. So if you don't want to use AWS to set up, Linux and everything else to deploy your simple thing that, for example, does, I don't know, authentication, sending messages, something, you can use JavaScript, TypeScript, or Python to code a cloud function, which is a serverless framework, meaning that it is not running on a server. It is running on an instance allocated on Google service. So Google gives you a little space on their server where you can run a little bit of code, and by doing that, you don't have to pay as much as you would pay for AWS, and you can host things like functions that trigger database events. For example, we just discussed Firestore. If a new document or collection is added to Firestore, you will trigger it, and you can do some additional logic there. You can trigger the classic HTTPS request, so it's going to act like your normal backend, for example, login route or something like that you can call from your application. And you can use cloud scheduler. So for example, someone registers in the applications, you remind them to, I don't know, buy the subscription in 2 days. You schedule that also, right? So here's a little graph, for example, how it works with upload the image from the mobile phone, right? It goes into storage. That's what has all of the documents on your Firebase. And then it goes through the functions because it triggered on that Firebase storage upload. Then you can download, convert, alter the image, crop it, for example, do whatever you want, right? Um, Authentication, I'm running a little bit quickly through these so you just understand what kind of things we can do, but later we're gonna select what we are doing today and we're gonna work with that more. So authentication, for example, is a very easy way of solving a very complex issue of managing your users in the application. For example, with Google, Microsoft, Twitter, you can see a lot of things here. My favorite is email password for classic. And also you can handle phone authentication, which is a big thing. So like to send SMS, OTP, one-time passwords, a big thing that is also really easily solved with this. So extensions is one of the newer features from Firebase, and we're going to be using it today. So we just learned cloud functions, right? And these extensions are essentially those cloud functions written for you by companies or really good developers that implemented some solutions that might help you. For example, let's discuss that routine thing of setting up the extension for deleting the user from everywhere once they delete the account because we don't want to keep any data. And across, like, for example, storage, Firestore, everything, you probably did a lot of things while you were still a user of that application. Now we need to delete that, for example, to comply with something. And it's just a good practice. Now, usually you would have to write a long function that would be deleting it from everywhere and it would take a lot of time. And you essentially need that logic for every single application so it doesn't change. So what extensions offer you is to use an already created solution in your project for no additional cost. So it's like a template for you that has already been provided that you can specify additional parameters for and just use it in your project. Now, there's a lot of cases that this can be used for example, email sending, automated email sending, AI features that we're going to be using today, semantic search, a lot of good things, and a lot of companies, for example, Stripe, handle payments with these extensions. So it's really, really useful thing that we're going to be using today. And extensions can be downloaded from this Extensions Hub website that we're going to be also exploring today. So before we jump into the Gemini quick review, I just wanted to show you a little bit more of Firebase here. So I would be very grateful and glad if you guys could also register for Firebase if you don't have an account. How to do this? Very easy. So you go to Google search, you do Firebase in here. I have a lot of Firebase stuff that I use. So if you just go here and you type in Firebase, you're going to see this first link, and this first link is going to be your console. And you can just say get started here. If you have a Google account, it shouldn't be anything complex for you. It'll just ask you a couple of questions and you're going to be in, and you're going to have this add project button here. So if you guys could do that, that would be really nice because then you can follow along. If you can't, it's also fine. We're going to figure it out with the account that I have for you a little bit later on that. But I'll just be showing you on this one for now So I have created this project in Firebase that is Firebase X Gemini for this workshop. And this is how the UI looks like. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. So we have Firestore, which we were just talking about. And as you can see, it's a simple UI where you can add a collection. So for example, let's call it test, right? And add the first document. Let's auto-generate the ID for it. And the field will be age. We can select a number for this one, 18, right? So what do we have now? We have a collection called test, and test has a document which has a parameter age 18. Now we can create another document which will have, well, if you know SQL, you would think that this would be also age 18, and if we do not add age 18, then it's gonna, crash or go wrong or something. But no, you can have completely different types in the same collection, so it's up to you to regulate that. So for example, if I say height here, and I set it to, I don't know, 180, save, and you see it still works, even though it's two completely different documents in the same collection. You just need to kind of keep track of this. But it offers you a great flexibility because you can essentially create insane structures of code and everything else that can handle your data. So authentication is this tab here. Nothing we should do right now, but if you want to add sign-in methods, it's here. As you can see, plenty of options to choose from. For example, extensions here doesn't really offer us anything. I already installed one, but we can just go here, explore extensions, and this is what I was talking about, the Firebase Extensions Hub. So Firebase Extensions Hub offers you a list of these extensions that we can build, and we're just going to look at them real quick here. For example, popular extensions. So one of the most popular ones are BigQuery, trigger email from Firestore. So this one sends you an email to a specified email address once a document is created in Firestore, which is really useful. For example, new user registered, send a welcome email. You don't need to write anything. You don't need to type any code for this. You just install and it works. You have Algolia here for semantic search. So a lot of things, right? We have Stripe, we have delete user data. This is what I was talking about, right? And in-app purchases, whatever it is that you need for your application. Today we're going to be using Gemini extensions, so these ones, they're really new, and I work at the company who makes them, who helps make them. And we will be actually going through this one. So the build chatbot with Gemini API. We're going to be exploring this extension today. And after I introduce you to Gemini, we will actually install it into our Firebase project. So one thing about extensions that is not very nice, and it's mentioned on this slide right here, there is a small downside of it. It requires a Blaze plan, and Blaze plan is the paid Firestore plan. So it allows you to, why is it like that is because Firebase functions are a paid feature. So since you're using Google's server space, you kind of need to be like, I'll pay for this, right? You have to be able to pay for this. But in general, it does not really take any money from you. I have some projects that I run on every single day, a lot of tasks, and they charge me like 0.5, 0.6, so 60 cents per month, which is nothing compared to AWS prices. So since I don't want you to, pull out your credit cards and do this, unless you already have a payment plan with Firebase, I'll just give you I'll give you a form, a Google form that you can input your email address in, and you'll be invited to a project that you can work in that is already paid for. So let's go to Gemini a little bit here. Gemini is Google's latest LLM, so large language model, like OpenAI has ChatGPT-4, ChatGPT-3. You all use it, we know it. And the difference here is that Gemini supports multimodality, which means that it can handle not only text, not only voice, not only video, but everything. So for example, you send it, let's say a book, and then you send it an audio version of the book, and you ask it to compare them. And then you send a cover of that book, and you're like saying to modify that cover, for example. And that many things, right? And it will analyze all of the data for you, and in 2 millennials, it's going to produce you some result. Yeah, probably going to take a while. So if we're like considering something smaller, let's say just you send a video and you send some text, so it's a prompt and a video, it will handle both, right? Or a text, a video, and an image, maybe audio file, handles everything at the same time, which is kind of cool. So it also supports full Google ecosystem. So for example, if you want to search for a flight, analyze hotels data, get something from YouTube, you can also do that. Very easy. Um, and it comes in three versions. Gemini Nano, the smallest one, that's what they put in the phones, and for example, Pixel 8 has it to help you with like some small stuff. Gemini Pro is what we'll be using today. It's like the medium model, and when I say Gemini Pro, just imagine GPT 3.5. It's like the same thing. And Gemini Ultra is the same as GPT-4, so it's paid, just like GPT-4. And it's a little faster than GPT-4, but pretty much they're the same. So just, yeah, Ultra is GPT-4. Why does it matter? It matters because, first of all, it's competition, and competition is always good. So OpenAI is great, we all love it, we all use it, but I'll tell you that I am a huge fan of ChatGPT, and I use it for to help me with my projects and to push them faster and develop them faster. Um, but I've been using Gemini a lot for pretty much the last 2 months. And I can tell you that, for example, code generation, even on the unpaid model, is pretty good. So if you want to generate some code and for it to actually run and make sense, I would recommend using Gemini, even the pro version, so you don't have to pay anything, right? I'll show you real quick how it works and how it looks like. So this is Gemini. It's right here. Looks pretty much like your ChatGPT. So hi. Hi. Okay. Generate code in Flutter to upload new user image. Let's see how fast it does it and how well it works. So you can see we have some audio input here, image input, and it's generating stuff for us. Okay. Generate stateful state. Yep. Yeah, this is about right. That's your classic interview question. Yeah, and even gets sources. That is interesting, actually. Let's see what the source is for this one. And it's something here. No idea how this works, but it's Dart, so probably it has something. So since GitHub is an open source tool, it can technically pull stuff from there and show it to you. And it also has, I believe, access to Google search and web search, but that is again paid probably. So we're not going to be doing that today. What we are going to be doing is some stats for nerds if you want it. It's, again, they're comparing the Ultra version. We're going to be using Pro, so it's not that impressive. But when compared to ChatGPT 3.5 and also assuming that it is free, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So speaking of pricing, Gemini offers free 60 QPMs, which is queries per minute. And that means that you can call the API to generate anything, just like we did, 60 times per minute, and it's going to be free. After that, you have to pay. And they do a silly thing on their website, and they say, like 0. It's here at 0.005, right? On the website it's like 0.002125, so it's even smaller. So when you compare it to GPT 3.5 Turbo, it's like, oh, this is cheaper. But they say per 1K characters. And character is not equal to token because character is approximately, well, 1/4 of a token. So one token is 4 characters. So when we do the math, this exactly equals to this. So Google is just a little, yeah, marketing trick. Uh, but the good thing about this is, again, that you get free 60 requests per minute, which is a lot if you're not, a huge application. This is pretty good. So you can use it. But the catch is that you have to use Google AI for this. So Google AI, we're going to talk about this later. They're a bit of a mishmash with that. We're going to figure it out. But yeah, in terms of pricing, think it's the same. It can generate images. It can generate text. It can analyze images. But yeah, it costs the same. So how do we integrate it? So we're going to be integrating this with the extensions, and we're going to start doing this right now. We have two extensions right now that I showed you, and the flow essentially is this. So you have the extension, you download it, you install it, right? You have a document, like we usually do. You have a document with a collection that we want. And once the document is done, we're going to trigger Gemini to do something. So just like I right now asked it to generate some code in Flutter, we're going to do the same, but from wherever we want, because in order to actually here, I need to go to the website, use it, get their UI, and I cannot create my beautiful, trendy application like help with Tinder messages, blah, 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 for $30 a month. That exists. So we can do the same if you want. Not today. I'm just gonna give you the base. You can do whatever you want with it. I hope it's not gonna be the Tinder help. But yeah, so our goal today is to manage, the first step is manage this, right? The flow. We add something to the collection, which again, when I say add something to the collection, means you're gonna do it from anywhere. Like, you know how they run Doom on anything, like on a toaster? You can run that on a toaster. Like you can tell the toaster to do something, it'll do that because just a little bit of engineering, right? So yeah, when I say add to collection from anywhere, right? This, I can speak into this is gonna add it to the collection. Not this probably, but we can make it work. Engineering students, anyone? No? Okay. So we're gonna add the document, we're gonna generate the response, we're gonna get it. Simple as that. Setting up Firebase. I hope you have Firebase accounts. If you do not, please create them. It's very easy. It's again Firebase in the Google search. And you will need them because if you guys are planning on participating in any hackathons, anything, creating projects for your resumes, I know you guys want to be hired at some point. So my good advice to you is create a Firebase project just to explore it, just to see what's happening. Because again, if you're an intern, people will want to check it out, I guess. Because again, I just don't want it to break like completely and totally. It's probably not gonna break, but at the same time, we can try. We can try. If it breaks, it breaks. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. You guys all have access to this project now. All of you have access. You should at least. So when you go to Firebase and you open your console, you should have this project available for you. So once you open it, I know that you are here because I can see you right in this here, permissions. So you should be in, and what we're going to be doing now is we're going to be going to the extensions and we're going to be exploring extensions here, right? So we're clicking on this, extensions. If you can't find it, it's probably in build. And go here. So this is the extensions.dev, right? This is where we get the extensions. I just showed you this website a couple of minutes ago. And what we're going to be installing is this. So the build chatbot with Gemini API. This is our extension. This is what's going to help us build a chatbot today. And once you're on this page, there is a big button inviting you to install it in Firebase. This big button here is blue. And we're gonna open it. And once you open it, I'm sorry, I have a lot of Google accounts, so I'm just gonna choose the one that we're working with today. So once you open it, you're gonna have this familiar screen here, but this actually prompts you to choose a project to install it into. So click on this, on the Firebase X Gemini workshop, and we're gonna go through this. So this has steps, right? And the steps are to configure this extension. It's gonna be really easy. Don't be scared. It's all good. So we're just gonna click next through everything here because this is just telling us what it's gonna use. Now for the provider, I'm just gonna fill it out and I'm gonna keep it on so you can do yours the same way. Because if you don't do it the same way, it's gonna break. That's not nice. So we're not gonna be using Google AI. This is what I was talking before. When you're gonna be experimenting with it. There is Google AI and there is Vertex AI. Google is really kind of threatening for everybody. So and know that was hard, not hard, Gemini. Uh, so no for Gemini. And Google AI is a provider for all of the Google AI stuff, all of the Vertex AI is also a provider for all of the Google AI stuff. But Vertex is like the grandpa. Google AI is like the son, but the son likes money, and the grandpa doesn't like money. That's weird, right? But Vertex doesn't charge you for using it as hard as Google AI does. So we're going to be using Vertex because Google AI will ask you here to add an API credential. If we do this, you're going to get lost, I'm going to get lost, and we're going to be here until tomorrow, which we don't want to be. So we're going to be using Vertex because Vertex will pull credentials automatically from this project and you don't have to do anything, right? What we're using for the model, we're using Gemini Pro. Again, if you're confused about anything in this screen, I hope you all got to this screen. If you don't, raise your hand. We're going to help. We're going to help. And if you guys are here and you're confused at what does the field mean, just hover over this. There are explanations for every single field here. Yeah, guys, if anything is wrong, raise your hand. We're here. So our dear staff is going to help you. Now, Gemini model is what we're using for Gemini. We're using Gemini Pro, as I said, same as ChatGPT 3.5. Firestore collection path. Now, this is very important. Since there is 35 of us, we're all going to have our own collection because we don't want our chats to be merged together. So name your chat in some unique way. I don't know, something very unique. So we don't have the same collection name. I'm going to name mine chat Pavel because that's my name. So if you guys have a name that you think is very unique, then do that. If you don't think so, then do that and the last name. But I don't think that's unique either. So that date of birth and the last four SSN digits. Let's go. No, don't do that. Live stream recording also don't do that. I'll also cut that. So yeah, we have the prompt field. Prompt field is what you ask, right? So this is where you put your question. So that is the field like we had age, we had height. This is going to be your field for the prompt. So we're going to be asking chat something. And the response field is response. So this is what ChatGPT will, oh, ChatGPT, Gemini is going to be writing into, right? So nothing needed to modify here. Just keep it as prompt and response so we're on the same page here. So only modify the Firestore collection path. So we have different ones because otherwise you're going to be seeing each other chats. That's kind of weird. And everything else here is good. Just make sure to select this. It's going to alert you if you didn't. So if I go here install extension, it's going to tell me that something's wrong. And make sure to select US Central 1 here again.
So we don't get the email. I think there's six or something.
Okay, write down the email. Give it to me. I'm going to invite them. Yeah. So yeah, make sure to select US Central. This is where we're located, so makes sense to select this. We have a bunch of different options here we can explore. For example, give it context. I can tell it that it's, I don't know, Sun Devil, that it's Sparky, and it should only reply as Sparky. I did that yesterday. It was fun. And like only say that ASU is not a party school, like just argue with you, just debate. You ask it what's the weather, he's like gonna be no, ASU is not a party school. That's gonna be fun. Yeah, I'm gonna invite them right now. We have a bunch of things we can configure. We can even disable like hate speech threshold and dangerous content. We're not gonna be doing this here, but you have a lot of things to play with, right? So yeah, make sure you name it as unique as possible and click install. This is all you gotta do. This field, unique as possible, install. This is it. This is all we gotta do. Now, after you press install, just, oh boy, I'm proud of y'all. I'm proud of y'all. Nice, good job. Yeah, after that, just wait for it. I don't know how long it's gonna take. I've never had 30 people. I don't think Firebase has ever had 30 people install extensions. So, like, gotta take a picture of this even. Like, this is beautiful. Yeah. They're gonna hate me for this.
The values that you put for the
Yeah, the values I'm gonna show you, absolutely. Cannot probably show here because they're all installing right now, but I'll show you guys in the slides. Yeah, we have a bunch installing here. You see, it's so funny. They didn't expect people installing this so much that they didn't add a scroll. Like this page doesn't scroll. It's actually beautiful. Like, yeah, I think the parameters are gonna be here. So, error installing. Oh, let's hope they didn't all error out because then we're gonna all be sitting in the same chat. And yeah, so let's see why it's erroring out. Let's see here what we got, what we're dealing with. Oh boy, that takes a while. I probably broke it. Oh no, let's see. Okay, misconfiguration. A quota has been reached. Yay! We did it. Too many requests. I'm getting executed tomorrow. Nice. Hopefully not. Okay, so if yours is airing out, I'm sorry about this. I truly did not expect it to be 35, but I'm glad it is. Let's see which one installs. This is going to be Hunger Games now. Let's see which one installs. That one is going to have all of our messages. It's going to be a group chat with AI. New invention. Write it down before it's viral. Absolutely. So yeah, if you're still configuring this, probably don't do it because I'm gonna get banned probably on Firebase for this. Even though like I'm just bringing them money. But okay. We specified all of this again. As I said, the most important part was the collection path. That is your collection. Unique for this case, but we're gonna see what happens. And We installed this, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna wait for at least one of these to install, which I hope is gonna happen with at least one before we reach the quota. And after that, we're gonna go into Firestore and we're gonna check if it worked. So I'll just be refreshing this for a little bit. This is gonna take a bit, but I see that they're loading, so I have hopes. So while this is happening, yeah, help around, guys. Again, raise your hand if something's wrong. I know that this is taking a while. I hope it's gonna work. Oh yeah, guys, if you're doing it on your own Firebase project, if it's a new one, if you just created it, go to Firestore database. You probably do not have it yet, and you need to enable it. So since we're using this project, I already enabled it, and I even have a slide for you for that case. Let me just show it real quick. So yeah, if you're using your own Firebase project and it's a new one, you will have to enable Firebase store. So Firebase Firestore, just go to the Firestore screen. It's going to ask you a couple of questions when you create it, but make sure to start it in the test mode. That's all. So region is United States and test mode, and it's going to work after that. Just reinstall it. So since we're waiting for this right now, we're gonna go and talk a little bit about Flutter, which is fun. And I have a surprise for you. We're not gonna be coding it today. This is not a workshop. So we're just gonna be using this pre-built thing that I made yesterday. And what I want you to do, guys, is I want you to customize it, and I want you to tailor it for your experience, how you want it, how you want to change it. It's a pretty nice, but very simple application. So open this link, you see that about Gemini. This is going to redirect you to the code. And yeah, sorry, it's not exactly Gemini. So look at the big one. I'm sorry, we didn't change that. Starter also has it, but it might be here that in previous workshops old code. So I made the Gemini to 100% low rating. So if you open Gemini here, it's going to show you the online web tool for Flutter. Should look like this. So this is called Zap. It allows you to essentially run Flutter in the browser. So what we're going to be doing here, I'm already seeing some messages. This is interesting. I don't know who is doing some Firebase stuff, but if you are, you're cool. Let's see. So once you open this, make sure to click this fork thing. So this is the fork button right here in the top right corner. Just make sure to click it, because otherwise you will be editing, you will not have it like as your own project. So once you fork it, it's going to give you access to your own website. So this URL is going to change, and actually this URL that you see here, you can copy paste it, and it will actually work in your browser right now. So this is a URL with the application. If I launch it, it's going to take a little bit, and then yes, it's going to be working. We have a lot of loading from Gemini here. We're probably again reaching the quotas and stuff. So we're just going to switch collections if it happens. So it's all good. So this is our Flutter application. I coded this beforehand. This is a pretty clean application. So if we have time, I'm going to go through it. If we don't, I'm not, because this is now yours. This belongs to you. So I urge you to explore this because there is a lot of comments and useful info here. So essentially what this does is, now we have a chat here. Don't write anything bad, please. Or I'm going to switch collections. Yeah. We're currently running on, I'll tell you what we're running on. So we're running on conversation. I don't know who figured that out and who's sending in the conversation, but you're cool, I guess. Uh, yeah, just chat here, I guess, because Gemini is not very much alive right now. Uh, anyway, so by the way, this is loading not because of Gemini. It's loading because there is no response. It's set here to show the loading bar if there is no response from Gemini, which, no response means it's loading. But since there is no Gemini right now, it's just going to be loading forever. So what we have here is a very simple application. The stuff that you see right here is your web application credentials. I'll have this in the slides if you want to set this up yourself. I'll show you real quick how it works. So we have this whole Flutter section, right? And it shows you how to, we're going to share the slides on Discord, by the way. The recording is going to be on YouTube, and the slides are on Discord. I'm going to publish them today. So make sure to check that out. So yeah, this whole thing shows you how to set it up. So you can go into your Firebase, copy all of the credentials. Very easy, very straightforward. This is just for your projects, and if you're going to be using this with your own Firebase project, because I'm probably going to be closing this, or they're going to ban this because we're just overused Google. It's funny, but we did, and I'm proud of us for that. So this is the tutorial for you. And now, essentially, there are no more slides left because we're just going to be testing this out. We're just going to be seeing what's happening here, right? So let's check up on the extensions, actually. Let's see what's happening there. Since oh, look at that. Look at that. That is a pretty good ratio of installations. Look at that. Okay, okay. You lucky ones who survived the Hunger Games, the first round. I don't actually know how many aired out. Let's see. Let's show 100. Let's show all of them. Okay, these are the districts that died. So you guys are going to be publicly shown right now, so we know who to mourn today. So whoever called it this, RIP. You can try reinstalling. Actually, not RIP at all. Try reinstalling. The next person we see here that has fallen to Firebase and Google, I'm gonna give a little 3 seconds of silence. I say, Adrian, you're getting a 3-second silence moment here. Nice. Okay, the third one we're gonna ignore. I'm sorry. The third one is reinstalling, so we're happy. Okay, so let's check this one, for example. Let's see what we got here. So it actually explains everything to you once you install. So if you go to yours and check this testing the extension thing, it's going to tell you exactly what I'm telling you right now. So the docs are really good. Now we're going to go to my Firestore here, and I'm going to start a new collection. We have conversation. I have, what did I call mine? Does anyone remember what I called mine?
Tests.
Did I call it that? No, I call it with my name. What was the first part? I genuinely do not remember. Uh, ASU exams got me doing wrong. Okay, let's do chat. Let's pray that it's this one. I think it's chat, my name. So what do we need to write here? What do we need? What do we need here? We need to get the prompt to get a response. So the only thing we need to type in here. So I'm assuming you're creating your collection right now. It's going to be called chat or whatever you called it, right? Your name. Document ID, just set it to auto ID. It doesn't matter what you call it. Doesn't matter at all. And prompt here is going to be whatever you want to ask the AI. For example, let's say write a short poem, like that. Now we save it, and we hope that this is actually my extension name. Oh, it is. Okay, so if you see this, it's processing, it's the status. It reports you on the current status of the extension, what it's doing. So as you can see here, it creates the status. You can say what is that status and have a little arrow. It's a nice little thing. It's a nice little array. JSON. So your is up there. You see all the other things are larger because in response, we got not only level 4, which I'm not going to we can reconfigure a lot of them to be Sparky and then but yeah, it seems like it was formatted as a little old thing. So it's pretty cool. And you see it even tells you that it's completed and before it was processing. So you can fetch that into your application to like show a proper one, not when it's just like null, but better, right? So what I'm going to be doing here, since I verified that my thing actually works, I'm going to be copying this. Let me see how many of you created your collections. Let's see here. Not enough. Make more. Make more, you guys. If you have problems, just tell me. We're going to help. But make your collections because we want to actually test this out. We want to see what it does, right? Now, while you're doing that, I'm going to just pause it here and I'm going to show you the line where we're going to be replacing our collection. So if you have any problems with creating extensions, any problems so far, raise your hand right now because we're going to help. For which? Field name prompt, yeah. Sorry? In what? Oh, this one. Anything you want to ask me. Just like you asked ChatGPT, do the same. I did the lower. You can do like generate code. Or just have. This is anything you want to ask. So, yeah, but make sure to not end it. So, just create a document. I said you create a document. Just make a document. Yeah, yeah, just yeah, put something in the prompt. So, guys, if you want to ask him something, you put it in the prompt like you do with ChatGPT. So, prompt is the field name, and the value is your question. Anything you want to ask. Generate some whole intro. We're just testing it out. We want to see that it works. We're going to probably be here for another 10 minutes if that's okay with you. I just want to show you how it's going to work finally. And not much is left. Don't worry about it. So yeah, this is the most important part. I see a hand there. Let me help you out. Again, if you're confused, raise your hand. I'm sorry for talking so much today. So field is prompt. Field is prompt. I'm going to show my Firestore now so you can see how I did it and you can copy it. Let's see it here. Let's see how many of you created it. Oh, that's better. That's better. I like that. Okay, so let me show you mine. This is it. This is what I did, right? I created a new document, prompt, write a short poem. Again, new document. This is prompt. This is tell me a joke. That's it. Save. Wait for it. If it creates this, you see it's pretty fast right now. That's it. What do you call a boomerang that doesn't come back? A stick. Funny. No. But it tried. So yeah, check the same thing. Make sure it works. If it doesn't, well, raise your hand. We're gonna help. If it does, nice. So for all of you who already did this, we're gonna go back into Gemini and we're gonna change this particular collection name to your name because I set it to conversation. Makes sense. It's pulling from conversation, right? So this whole Firebase Firestore, guys, pay attention to this one because this is very important in terms of application. If you don't think this is not gonna work. So we have a conversation here. We have a timestamp. Conversation is loading like this because it doesn't have any, like no one named the conversation because it doesn't have any. So whatever you send is just a chat. It's like you all are lovers and you're chatting with each other. It's kind of cool. So this one is a. I'm not going to go into what it does, why is it like that, not after that. But you can explore that. Get the comments there. What you need to see is it's a Firestore instance that gets the collection name conversation ordered by timestamp and shows it was, right? So what we need to do is replace that value. It's line number 72. Line 72. Replace conversation with whatever you named your collection. So I'm gonna rename it with mine, which is Chat Pavel, like this. And this is all you have to change. This is all you have to change, right? I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna go help you out, but make sure to change line 72 in the code. Change the collection from conversation to whatever you have. You might want to reinstall it. You just go back to extensions and just reinstall that. So just make sure to remember which yeah, you just do this thing. You don't have to do this. Just create the extension for yourself. Install. Okay, guys, if something is not working, again, this is going to work for you at home 100%. Because right now we're running on so many projects here, on so many extensions and instances. So if it doesn't work, just bear with me and try it all at home because I'm going to publish the whole package of what we're doing today, including slides, Flutter link, everything, so you can test it at home. I think the slides are enough for you to understand what's up. If you don't get it at home, message us on Discord. Just send it to the Discord. We're going to help you. So I want you to all have this, and I want you to be able to play around with this. So now, since I added my collection here, and you guys added it too, we should be able to chat with the bot, right? So I'm gonna write testing here. I'm gonna send it. And it's not gonna work, which is interesting. Oh, I don't think I refreshed it. Okay. Make sure that I have my collection here. Yeah, this is mine. This is interesting. Okay. This is yeah. Oh. Let's see if this works. Oh yeah, okay. Y'all, sorry, my bad, apologies. If you guys weren't getting, just like I was here struggling right now, not getting the correct response here, I added this field called timestamp. It's the field that shows the. Okay, so if you guys were experimenting with the extension, you did have this field called timestamp. Those are the messages, right? So this field just remove this whole line. So 73, line 73 has to go. Because I said so you get timestamps, so you get like great messages, so you can experiment with that. But since we're just using the prompt field, you don't have that here. So just remove that line. It's gonna be fine. Just remove line 73 is gonna work. After that, after we send the first message through this chat, it's gonna also populate. If you inspect the code, it's gonna show there. But yeah, sorry, my bad. So remove line 73. If you don't see anything, but you inputted the conversation name. So look, my name is like Chat Pavel here. I'm gonna remove this. I'm gonna comment this out. I'm gonna restart, and I'm gonna get all of the messages that I was getting before here. So if it's not working, if it's showing a blank screen, make sure to remove that line 73. Just make sure it looks like this. Again, apologies for the oversight. I just wanted it to be pretty. Okay, so we have actually my short poem here. And tell me a joke thing. You can see they're in reverse. It's a little weird because we don't have the timestamp thing, right? I'm sorry, I'm just wanting to experiment with your collection, but since it broke stuff, just right? So tell me a joke was my question. That's what it replied, right? The joke. Right, the poem was the poem thing, and that's what it replied. Now, don't be scared if it goes some wrong way or something like that. It's, you know, again, because of this timestamp thing. And let's ask you something. How was your evening? Your evening. And I hope it doesn't lag out on me. Come on. Is it not gonna like the timestamp? I'm so sorry about this timestamp. I just wanted to look nicer. But yeah, I forgot that we're gonna be creating one without the timestamp. So it should probably show up now. Come on. Nope. One of us that doesn't have it. Okay. I'm just gonna clear my collection fully. So delete document. Oh no, I know why it didn't work. I know what it didn't work. I know exactly why it didn't work. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, so there is one thing. There is one thing that we didn't do. There is one more line. This is where we read. This is where we write. Don't, sorry, it's late evening. Line 128 is where you send the message. This gets executed while you press enter, right? This is where you send the message. If you want to search for it, just conversation. Just have this Control F and conversation. Type in conversation, it's gonna find it for you. Replace it there too. I'm sorry we're having so many customizations to the code, but yeah, it's gonna work, I promise. It's just two things, right? Replace all the collections. So this one here and this one here. So this is for reading, this is for writing, and then remove the timestamp thing. Now let's try. If it doesn't work, I'm not gonna give promises. If it works, I'm gonna give a promise. I'm gonna be very happy. Let's see. Okay, I cleared all of the documents from my collection. So hi. Hallelujah, it works. Nice. So I just sent a message from Flutter, and I got a response. Hello, Greg, how can I assist you today? Now, since we don't have the timestamp thing set up, it's probably gonna go the other way around or something weird. Okay, let's say this. Help me with math. That's what we do, right? Oh, look, it went actually the right way. Certainly. Okay, so we're talking to Gemini right now through our little wrapper, and I remind you that you can open this on your iPhone, on your MacBook, on your Apple TV, whatever you want. You can build an application out of this. It is going to work with all the platforms. So what we essentially did is, again, let's go see the backend side of things. This is it, helping with math, and this is it, hi. So we are putting it into Firestore, getting the response from Firestore, and using it in our app, all with Gemini. And I remind you that, again, we can open this link, which has to be unique for you guys if you forked, if you're the real ones who forked. And this is our chat here. And if you want to try opening this link right here on your mobile app, or I don't know, mobile phone, for example, it's going to work too. So this is what I wanted to show you. This is how we build a wrapper for Gemini with Firebase, Flutter, and everything else. Again, guys, if something did not work today, if you got lost, if you want to see more customization, if you want to see how we explored a lot of things that we didn't actually go in depth today. So there's plenty of things we can change here. Guys, we can probably right now. Sorry about that. But we want to excite you about it. How to hackathon, we want to give you the tools, right? So it all depends on you. If you want to experiment more, our job here is to show that this is possible and this is really cool. So what you can do with this thing, add context like I showed you in that field, install expansion, add context, add some other fields, you can do anything you want with it for any goal, any reason. But this is how we do it. So that's pretty much it. That's all I got for you for today. Congratulations for surviving.